Now let them join, means they would be joining the class. We will start with, okay. As it is your first class, as you are attending for social science, and I would like to tell you about something like what science is and how should we study about, okay, and how should we go for studies of SST. As many of the people, many of the students, they feel hesitation while studying SST, as they have a mindset that they need to understand lots of dates and years and names, okay. These are actually not the should not be the reasons. Actually, what whenever we say that we study history or geography or political science or economy, the only thing is it is very important to make the chronology. What does mean by chronology? Chronology is something where you go through the events sequentially. Sequentially, if you're going there, there is no need to keep anything else, other things. Like if you will say, if you are studying history since 11th century, so what happened in 11th century? Not all the years are important in that whole century, but some are important. So keep those years, okay, keep those years in writing form somewhere else. Try to understand what was happened there in that particular year, who was prominent person in that particular period, okay, or particular year. In this way you need to prepare the chronology, and from there you can understand the history properly. Understood? Are you getting my point? Please keep your videos on.
Yes, sir.
Please keep your videos on. Yeah. So this is everyone. I did not ask only Shreyashi. I asked everyone to keep your videos on. Okay. Only Shreyashi is listening to me, not others. Doesn't matter. So the matter is here, why did we, or why did I choose to teach, or to start to teach from history, and that too from the French Revolution? Because you are here in ninth standard, you were there in 8th standard. Till 8th standard you have learned about the contemporary world of India, what was happening in India. But here in this contemporary world one, you will find exactly at the same time whatever was going on in India, exactly at the same time what was going on in the world. Okay, in the world what kind of events were taking place, how the people reacted those events or those problems or situations, and how this French Revolution has become so popular, and why the whole world had taken the example of French Revolution while preparing or while set up their or setting up their societies. Okay, why did they take this example as French Revolution should be taken? Because people fought for their rights. People fought for their rights. See, the essential things, I would say essential things, those feelings like nationalism, liberty, freedom, okay, society, constitution, lots of concepts are there which have come from French Revolution. As earlier, France was a monarchy. What was it? A monarchy, where the king used to rule. That is called monarchy. And all the rights are rest with the king. Okay. Again, I would request everyone to please turn on your video. I would see if you are there in the class or not, or only you have joined the class and you are doing something else. Okay, please, it is my request, as it is online class, it is recording also, still you are not listening to me. Zoya Ali, Aisha, Ayush, Anshul, Anvesha, Nityashri, and this Manogna, what name is there? Okay, please turn on your videos.
Sir, if I turn on my video, your voice will break. That's why I'm not turn on in my video.
And what about others? Nice class, not responding class. Okay then. Here now.
Sir, English and both you only teach for us?
Yes, Nitish. Yes, I take both the classes, English as well as SST. I take only.
Okay, sir.
Is there any problem? Nitish,
No, sir, I was just asking, so that's it.
you were just confirming if
Yes.
I'm teaching English as well as SST.
Yes.
Then, okay. Now, I was telling you about French Revolution. See, you might have watched the movie, the latest movie in your South India only. That is KGF 2. Have you watched that? Second part?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Heard it, sir, but not watched it.
Okay.
Sir, I didn't watch.
Any movie which is an epic movie, there, first they do not start with the beginning. They show you what happened at last. What happened at last. Okay, the last
The
scene
Bahubali,
is
sir.
shown first. And from there, the events start. Okay, that how that particular person reached to that condition. Okay, so in the
Sir,
same
like
way.
Bahubali, sir.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, Bahubali was also the same kind of movie. Yeah? Means first we see the flashback, and a flashback in the sense we see the last scene first, and after that the director put us into the events, that how that person has reached to that condition or situation. Okay, in the same way, this French Revolution is also like that. I would like, miss, I would just tell you what happened in that. Okay, how this, see, French Revolution was exactly started from 14th of July 1790, 1789. Okay, but before that, many things had happened. Okay, why people started immediately something that does not happen, like, isn't it? Something if you
Yes,
want to
sir.
start, that would not a sudden action. There would be something, a background should be there. That is
It
why
will take some time, sir.
it will definitely take some time to come or to reach that particular event or particular time, isn't it? So the
Yes,
same
sir.
way happened in the France, in the French Revolution, where we will see that how people thought about their monarch. Okay, why monarch did a lot of wrong things. Why is not a suitable question, but how did he do wrong with the people of France, and why people came on the street and they started to march against the monarch. Okay, so let us understand this, the renowned revolution that is world famous, and still you are in 9th standard, this will not leave you there in 10th standard as well. These events are continuous events where you are studying French Revolution in 9th standard. After that you will see Russian Revolution, okay, in the same session, this 9th session you will see the Russian. Means once you are studying French Revolution, so French Revolution is telling you that how nation is to be established. Okay, where those essential of the feelings of the people should be standing there, like liberty, freedom, okay, nationalism. Such kind of feelings emerged in French Revolution. But in Russian Revolution, you will find that how the society should be run. Okay, how society means the small level. The Russian Revolution will tell you about the small level of the nation, but at national level, you need to study French Revolution, where you would come to know why people became very furious against their, furious at their monarch. Okay, and why did they made us a violence like situation there. Okay, let us understand this first. Let me share the screen with you. Are you able to?
Yes, sir.
So this is history, the French Revolution. First of all, we will try to understand how the events had taken place, the main events with the date, not dates, but the years. Okay, see, since 1774, see, actually 14th July 1789 was the day when people came on the street. Okay, and they started to protest against their king.
Monarch,
But,
yes.
but it was all started from the rule of Louis XVI, the King Louis XVI, when he became the Emperor of France. He became the king or monarch of the France. Okay, since that time only, his policies, his activities, his demands, his desires, okay, a lot of kind of taxes which were put upon people, means people were not able to survive at all. Means there was a subsistence crisis. What was there?
Subsistence crisis.
Crisis. Means the question how to survive. This was the biggest question before the people, before the citizen of France. Okay, as lots of things were there, as Louis King, this King Louis XVI had imposed upon the people. Okay, and they faced the subsistence crisis there, the survival crisis. And now survival crisis, you might have come to know about that: food, water, their liberty, their problems. There's lots of things are there which we have to face every day. So the main events that was started from 1774 and it ended in 1946. See, means whole 18th century, not whole 18th century, but whole 19th century. Okay, at the end of the 18th century and the starting from 19th century and even till mid 20th century, it was continued. And near about this 1774 and 1946, in the sense, how many years in total? 72 years the people fought for their rights. How many years? 72 years. Is it a
72
small
years.
span of time? Is it a small span of time? No,
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 sir.
sir.
7
it's
decades.
not a
It's a
small.
very long.
It's a long time where the people got their rights. Ultimately, there in 1946, the last right which was given, which was prescribed to the women, their right to vote. As you may see, there women in France own the right to vote. Okay. See,
Yes, sir.
their revolution was started in 1789 and they got their right to vote in 1946. What would have been the situation there where people had to face a lot of critical situations, problems, isn't it? And even at that time, no one was there to help out them. Only the people who could help them or themselves there in the French Revolution. Have you got it? So what happened there in 1774? King Louis XVI became the Emperor of France. Have you got the point?
Yes, sir.
First thing.
Yes, sir.
Now, immediately after 1774 to 1788, we are not there, because this was the rule. Means France was ruled by the king. Then Convocation of States General, third state formed National Assembly, storming of the Bastille peasants revolt in the countryside. This is the background that we are going to study. The main thing, why this French Revolution took place. Convocation of states general. States in the sense, there were some states in the sense of categories. Here, state means the categories were there, and their critical, or their we may say the tyranny behavior made the third state form National Assembly. What is this third state? Where all the common people were included. Those people were not the clergies. Those people, clergies in the sense, they are related to church. Okay, and they were the uppermost category there in France at that time. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Second state, which was related to businessmen, lawyers, and the people who were paying the taxes.
So nobility?
Noble also. Okay,
Yes,
those
sir.
who were actually helping out to the helping out the king while taking some decision, those were called as nobles. Those were called as nobles.
Nobles.
In the very simple term, if we'll say, so those people were the literate people. Those were called
Nobles.
Okay, sorry. Okay, these nobles were helping out the king while taking the decisions, while making the decisions, on behalf of him. Okay, so these critical or tyrannical situations, or the imposed things, the third state actually formed National Assembly. Now, this word is very important. This is not only the word, but this is a place. What is this? The place in France.
France.
Sir, it's a prison, right?
It's a prison. It's a prison.
Yes.
Now, people were on the street to protest against the monarch. Okay. Now, when Louis XVI, when he saw that people are actually protesting against him, so he sent his troops there to stop them, only to stop them, not to fire on them or not to beat them. But ultimately, the citizen, they thought that the monarch had given the order, the troops. The order was given by the monarch to the troops to stop them or else fire at them. So people became very furious. They became very furious. And they just were nearby the prison, that's Bastille. Okay, they were just nearby that. And against this, or you may say, to answer this, that the troops were there on the street, the people were also on the street, and even the troops were on the streets. So to answer this, the people actually attacked the prison situated in Bastille. All the things were vandalized. What is mean by vandalized?
Sir, destroyed?
To break down everything. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And they looted the arms from there. Now, to give answer to the troop, as people were without arms on the street, and they were doing the protest very silently, in the sense without any violence. But when they saw the troops on the street, so they thought that they would attack them, and at that time, to answer them, they had no arms. That is why they actually, what did they do? They attacked the prison, and from that prison, they just collected the arms, okay, and they came back, vandalizing it. And even the prisoners were there in the jail. In that prison, prisoners were there. How many prisoners were there? Do you know? Only 7 prisoners were there. How many prisoners were there? 7 prisoners. Okay, they were there and they were released by the people. They were released by the people, and in this way, this is called as storming of Bastille. Storming in the sense it was set on fire as well. Okay, it was vandalized as well. The rule was broken by the citizens. Okay, not intentionally, but in the rumor. In what? The rumor. It was a spread all over Bastille. Have you got the point?
Yes, sir.
I'm just telling you the background, what happened there, and how the French Revolution was started. When was it started? On
1789. 14
89.
July 1789.
14th July 1789. Okay, but before that, what had happened?
Louis XVI became the Emperor of France.
No, I'm not asking you, I'm just telling you. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir.
So some 7,000 men and women gathered in front of the town hall and decided to form a people's militia. 7,000 people. Militia in the sense, there in your book it is written militia. So it is forming like military camp. Okay, military. So they broke into a number of government buildings in search of arms. As the monarch had given, not actually he had given the order to attack or to fire, but it was just to stop out them. Okay, stop them. But people thought that if they would fire upon us, so there was nothing with them. That is why it happened there. Okay, in search of arms, they vandalized a lot of government buildings. They found there whatever they found there, they kept with them. Okay, they took away everything along with them, and they started to protest. Understood? What happened in 1791? The constitution gave political rights only to the wealthy sections of the society. I just told you, clergies and businessmen, the second state, the first state and the second state, these people had got political rights. I will that also explain there. Means near about 600 members were there while the National Assembly was formed. Understood? So what had happened there also, we will also see that as clergies and the businessmen, means first state and second state had more rights. Means there one person had the value of 2 votes, and here in the third state, the people who are belonging to third state, they had only 1 person, 1 value or 1 vote. Okay, are you getting the point?
Yes,
That
sir.
is
Yes,
why
sir.
there was a
One
problem
person,
again.
one value, one
Yes,
vote.
one person, 1 vote, 1 value. Okay, which was given to whom? To third state. But the first and second state had more political rights, and that is why, due to that, they had more number of votes out there. Got it? If they are counting, if they were also 300, these were also 300. So 300, it means third state 300 into 1. So 300 votes would be there. But 300 into 2. So how many votes would be there? 600.
600.
So
600.
who will be winning the race, or who will be winning the election? Definitely
The first and
who are
second
getting-
state.
who
The
are
first.
actually
The
obtaining
majority.
600 votes there. Okay, so this constitution, whatever was made there in 1791, that was also abolished afterwards. Okay, what happened in 1792? The National Assembly voted to declare war against Prussia and Austria. France became a republic. Here, the warlike situation was there. Okay, National Assembly means the third state actually fought a war against Prussia and Austria. These were the portion, or these were the we can say the part of Russia, and sorry, not Russia, France. Okay, So France after that became republic. Republic in the sense what? Where the people start to rule. That country is known as republic country, as our India. Okay, our country is also a republic country where indirectly the government is government works on behalf of the citizen. Means indirectly the decisions are taken by the citizen. Government is only a medium. Okay, that is called a republic. So 1793, where Louis XVI was beheaded. He was killed over there. Overthrow of the Jacobin Republic or directly ruled France. Now, overthrow of Jacobin Republic. Here, Jacobin was a group of people. What was this? A group of people.
A group of people.
They started to rule one of the part of France, but that was also overthrown. Okay, and France was directly ruled. 1793 and 94, the period is referred to as the Reign of Terror. This is very, very important point here or topic here. Important topic. The Reign of Terror. You will see here what happened to the people. The situations were very worst at that time. How did people survive this? Even if you are thinking about it, you will just be shivering there. Okay, why people means they might have thought that why did they take birth on the earth? Okay, that kind of situation was there. And this terror, this time also, whatever you are seeing, the terrorism, that phenomenon into them or into their minds, those who are terrorists right now, that might have come from this reign only. Okay, from this concept only. This is only a prediction. Okay, I'm not sure about it. 1804, what happened? Napoleon became emperor of France and annexed large parts of Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte, you might have heard the name. Okay, he became the new ruler, the new monarch of France, and he started to rule. As he was very powerful, so he annexed. Annex means what?
So captured.
To attach. Okay, to add. But by what? By power. Okay, whenever you are adding something else to your territory, so that is annexed. Okay, 1815, Napoleon defeated in the Battle of Waterloo. In the Battle of Waterloo, he was defeated. Okay, abolition of slavery in French colonies. You might have heard about this slavery, as
Yes.
many slaves were taken from South Africa to America to work in the plantation, isn't it? So
Yes.
that is why in the beginning only I told you what happened in the contemporary time, what was going on in some other country and what had happened there in France. Though the events are to be connected. The events are to be connected. Understood? Did you get the point?
Yes, sir.
So this, are you getting the scenario, the things which we are going to study right now? Okay, I'm telling you the flashback, what will be covered in this chapter. Shreyashi, Shreyashi, are you there? Or your picture is only there?
Sir, I think she's frozen.
Okay, the last is women got the vote, got the right to vote there in 1946. Okay, even we were about to take our independence. I just told you. There in France, the women got the right to vote. Here, exactly in the year of 1946, we were busy, or we had started to write our constitution. You might have known about it.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? It
Yes,
was
sir.
started there in the month of July 1946. Okay, the means some nationalists started to write the constitution. Okay, so in such a way you have to connect the events, what had happened, what was going on in India and what had happened there in France. Okay, have you got the point?
Yes, sir.
So this is all about the background that we are going to study. Main events I have discussed. Okay, now let us understand cause of the French Revolution. What were the causes? See, if the question is there, what were the causes of French Revolution? So these causes you have to write down. How many causes are there? Near about 5 causes are there, which should be written. Okay, okay, against this question. Okay, in the form of answer in this question. Have you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let us understand this now. As above we discussed about Bastille, the Bastille was a fortress prison built during the 100 Years' War. Okay, it was actually the very old prison, fortress, in the sense a fort-like prison was there. Okay, initially it was a fort, after that it was transformed into prison. Okay, it was rumored that the Bastille was full of prisoners and hoarded ammunition and arms. What is ammunition? Related to uh, guns. Okay, guns
Firing.
and some something like bombs.
Firing.
Okay, lots of things, rifles. Okay, lots of things. Ammunition means as a jakhira that we say. Okay, in Hindi. So it was rumored that in Bastille, the Bastille was full of prisoners. And how many prisoners were there? Only 7 prisoners. Okay, how many prisoners were there? Only 7 prisoners. But it was rumored in France that there are many prisoners and a lot of arms are kept in Bastille prison. Okay, so it was seen as a symbol of the despotic power of the king. Despotic power in the sense, what is mean by despotic power? Huh? Despotic power is something where it is centered. It is centered to the king. All the powers were in the hands of king. On the morning of 14th of July 1790, 89, some 700 men and women gathered in front of the town hall and broke into many government buildings as well as the fortresses in the Bastille. Why? In search of the arms. In search of the arms. In the armed fight, the commander of the Bastille was killed and the prisoners were released. See, the commander who was actually in charge of Bastille prison, he was killed in that vandalization. Okay, in that fighting. Okay, armed fight. The fortress was demolished. The storming of the Bastille set off a chain of events that led to the French Revolution and the execution of King Louis XVI. This event actually in itself set on fire. People became furious. Okay, they did not listen to anyone and they started to protest against the king, and in this way he was executed there in the year of 1793. Okay, it took 4 years to be done. Are you getting the point? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Now there is another reason. At the Bastille was hated by all because it stood for the despotic power of the king. The fortress was demolished and its stone fragments were sold in the markets to those who wished to keep a souvenir of its destruction. See, people, what did they do? Actually, the building was demolished and the demolished building, whatever the debris was there, okay, whatever the debris, do you know the debris? The remains, okay, after demolition, okay, after vandalization, the debris was there, and from that debris, the people used to take the stones and marbles and something else over there, and they used to sell that into the market, so that the people would keep those souvenir in the memory of the prison, Bastille prison. Okay, people did this irony there. What did they do there? Irony. Okay, people did this. Now, the days that followed saw more rioting both in Paris and countryside. Most people were protesting against the high price of bread. What actually happened there? Why people were very furious? Because the increase in the price of bread, which was a necessary or essential food for the people. Bread means all the foods are covered over there. Okay, they became furious. Why? If you are suddenly increasing or you are making hike in the prices of the commodities, so from where people would bring money to purchase them, isn't it? At a time, suddenly,
Yes, sir.
today, if you have visited market and tomatoes were rupees 20 per kg today, and suddenly if you are going tomorrow and they are asking you to pay 100 rupees per kg, so you would become very furious. अरे कल क्यों नहीं बताया मुझे? It was 20 rupees kg, na? I would have taken 10 kgs. Now you are asking me to pay 100 rupees per kg. How is it possible? Is it miss? This would miss every human being. It's a normal situation, right? Means every human being would become furious. As why didn't you tell me yesterday?
Yes, sir.
I would have done yesterday only. I would have purchased yesterday only, isn't it? So Chanak means suddenly the bread price were increased. Much later, when historians look back upon this time, see, it is a background there in your book. Okay, they saw it as the beginning of the chain of events that ultimately led to the execution of the king in France. Though most people at the time did not anticipate this outcome. How and why did this happen? That we are going to study here now in French society during the late 18th century. It is called as late 18th century by why? Because it was starting, it was started in 1789. It was a late time. Okay, means it was about to end. 18th century was about to end. Okay, see there, French society during the late 18th century. There you might see on the right side of that page, page number 4, the 3 states are given. First state is given. Are you having a book with you right now? Do you have your book with you?
Sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So the first
Yes,
state is
sir.
given. First state that belongs to clergy. Second state, nobility. It means, and the third state where big businessmen, merchants, court officials, lawyers, peasants and artisans, small peasants, landless laborers and servers. Third state people were the people who were only paying the taxes to the government. And these nobility and this clergy, they were enjoying the ancestral, we may say, the rights, okay, ancestral rights, as their ancestors were also working like clergy and nobility, and same time whatever the taxes were paid by these states were enjoyed by the upper caste people or upper states. Okay, just like in our country, upper caste people means 4 varnas are there in our country, like, okay, Brahmins, Kshatriya, then Vaishyas and Shudras. So how Brahmins were not accepting the existence of Shudras, but they used to make the Shudras to work for them. Means the work done by the Shudras for them, it was okay. But even sitting by them was not accepted by the Brahmins. It is somewhere the tyranny of the people or by the Brahman caste. I'm not alienating anyone. It is a reality there. Okay, you may find the proofs as well. Okay, understood, the evidence as well. Got it? I'm not telling this in the air. Got it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So please don't take it otherwise.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, someone would be there, Brahman, and he would raise his hand and would say, sir, what are you telling? Okay, this is not the case actually. Okay, I'm fully telling you on the basis of NCRT book. Got it? Okay. Now, what happened there in France, French society late in the 18th century? In 1774, Louis XVI of the Bourbon family ascended the throne of France. Okay. Earlier, we saw that he became the emperor there, and what did he do? Okay. So he belonged to which family? The Bourbon family. He found the state coffers empty because coffers means what? The treasury, tijori.
Oh. Big box.
Okay, he found the state coffers empty because for long wars, that when he became the king or monarch, actually the state was kangal totally, in the sense it had no money. Understood? Coffer means what? It was totally, that treasury was totally empty. Whenever we refer the treasury to the royal family or royal personality, so it is called as coffer. Okay. So due to some war, okay, that treasury was totally empty. An extravagant court in Versailles involvement in the American War of Independence and faulty system of taxation. These were the reasons. Why was the treasury empty? Why was the treasury empty there? Extravagant court in Versailles. Means
Versailles.
without any reason, the courts were formed. The establishment of courts were formed and a lot of money was spending upon them. Okay. The involvement of France in what? American War of Independence and faulty taxation system where people were paying the taxes, but those taxes were actually vanished and those taxes were not actually counted there in the treasury. Okay, and that is why that treasury became empty. So what was the reason, what was the fault of King Louis XVI? As he increased the taxes, he set up the proper way of taxation and people became furious at him. As common citizens were not aware of all this, isn't it? Now king would not take the bhompu and will speak over there. Oh my dear citizens, why did I means increase the taxation because of this? Okay, this is not the case that would happen there with any king. Under the ancient regime, means old regime, French society was divided into 3 states. This is the earlier time. Okay, when Louis XVI was not the king, was not the monarch there. Are you getting the point? Is there any confusion till now?
No, sir.
Okay. If you are persisting with any confusion, please ask me at the same time, because this is the chapter which is too long. Okay, you would have to keep every event in brain. Understood? So Louis XVI became the king. After that, he found the treasury was empty, and in the old regime, the French society was divided into 3 states or 3 types. What were those states and what was the taxation there? We'll see here. The 3 states were there. What were those? The clergy formed the first state. Clergy related to church, who were actually working in the church. Okay, they were considered as the upper caste people there. It comprised less than 1% of the total population of France. See, what was the condition there? Even the total population, the France population was there, or the French population was there. 1% was also not filled with the or by the clergies. Still they were keeping that first place. The nobility formed the second state. It comprised approximately 2% of the total population. See, these only 2.5% people were actually handling the means the people 97.5% people or population of France. The first and second state were the privileged classes. Why it is called as privileged classes? As they were given the rights, even if they were not working for the state or for the nation, they were paid. They were getting salaries on the regular basis. They were enjoying the taxation even as they were waived off by paying the taxes. Are you getting my point? They were waived off. Means they were not paying the taxes. Okay, instead of that, they were enjoying the taxes which were paid by the third state and exempted from payment of state taxes. I just told you. They were exempted. They were waived off. The third state formed by the majority of the population who were belonging to business, who are belonging to what? It is written here. Merchants, lawyers, officials, artisans, peasants, and small peasants, and landless laborers and servants. These people were actually comprised by the third state. And those only people, it was the unprivileged class with no political right. They have no right in the political system. It bore board and its second form and third form is bond. Board. Bond means to sustain with, okay, or to go with, to bear, to bear. Bore the burden of taxes and so was more discontented. Definitely. Some people are exempted and some are only paying the taxes, and they are even the people who had no land. They are landless, they are laborers, they are servants, they are businessmen, where at that time businesses were not running due to the warlike situation. Officials, lawyers, these people only were paying the taxes. Okay, and that is why this this portion of population, this uh, these people from third state were furious at the king. They were discontented with the decision. Understood? At that time, two types of taxes were paid by the peasants: tithe and tally. Tithe and tally. Tithe was levied by the church and comprised 1/10 of agriculture produce. Means actually whatever tithe was paid to the church directly, and whatever the produce was there, whatever the products were produced there in the agricultural farm, 1/10 of agricultural produce was directly taken away by the church. Understood? To feed those clergies who were actually not doing anything else. Have you got the point? Tally was paid by directly to the state. Who are paying this? Peasants, artisans, lawyers, businessmen, merchants, okay, landless, laborers, and servants. Are you getting the point? Okay. These were paying the taxes directly to the state, and that tax was hoarded by the state into its treasury. Have you got? Is there any confusion till now?
No, sir.
Okay. This is what I was telling you about the struggle to survive. Subsistence crisis. This is what I was telling you in the beginning only. What is the subsistence crisis then? One second. Here in the book, you may see there the population of France rose from about 23 million to, in 1715 to 28 million in 89. Okay. This led to a rapid increase in the demand for food grains. Now I would just tell you this thing. What had happened here? Subsistence. What was the subsistence crisis? Here you may see that the population there was 23 million. After that, it was increased to 28 million. Okay. Then the demand was increased. What demand was increased? Food demand. Okay. That time the food was not produced at that rapid rate, and the people had become foodless, we may say. Okay, in the sense they were not getting the food to be survived, and that is why it is called subsistence, means to survive. Wherever there is the crisis for survival, it is called as subsistence crisis. Have you got the point? Okay. The production of grains could not keep pace with the demand. The price of bread, which was the principal diet of the majority, increased. Wages of laborers did not keep pace with the rise in prices. Actually, the clergies and nobles were okay. Businessmen, merchants, lawyers, officials, they were getting the money in this or that way. But what about the peasants, landless laborers, and the servants? They were totally depending upon the work for their food. And they saw that situation where they were not getting the food at all, as the prices were rising day by day, but the food grains were not got by the third state people, especially the peasants and landless laborers and servants. The gap between the rich and the poor widened. What happened then? What was the result of this? The rich became rich and the poor became poor again. How did they become the rich? As the prices of the commodities were increased, so they started to sell the commodities at higher level or higher prices. And the poor people, whatever the hoarding was there, whatever the storage of money was with them, okay, that was drained. That was drained. That was came down. That came down. Okay, that is why poor became poor and the rich became rich. Suppose something is having the price of 10 rupees, so they would sell that commodity at rupees 100. Okay, in this way rich became rich and poor became poor. Soon France saw bread riots, especially in urban areas like Paris. Even in the urban areas like Paris, people started to fight for the bread and they started to do the riots. They started to do the riots. Okay. Here, subsistence crisis is an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are threatened. Means if you are thinking that you just take example of water, if you will come to know that from tomorrow there would be no water in your tap, so what would be the situation? Definitely, you will come on the street. You will come on the street. You will ask the question to the officials why the water is not being provided to us from tomorrow, isn't it? That is a survival situation. A bad harvest leads to scarcity of food and rise in food prices. Bad harvest in the sense, when see, jab musibat aati, it comes from all around. Okay, as people were fighting for their rights, even in the same time, what happened? The food grains demand was increased, but the production was not done, or production was not taken by the people there. Okay, and that is why the food prices were increased. At the same time, famine like situation, it was seen there, in the sense not a good rainfall was there, and that is why the harvest, it leads to the scarcity of food. Okay, as it was not harvested or cultivated at that much level, or the poorest couldn't afford to buy food, leading to food riots. Weaker bodies increased death rates due to hunger. Lot of people were died there in France due to hunger only, as you will not get the food. And if suppose you are not getting the food, definitely your body would become weak, and that weakness will kill you, isn't it? Have you got the point?
Yes, sir.
So in this way, we have seen till now the struggle to survive. The next events will be seen in the next week, because it is once in a week. SST class is once in a week, okay, for 9th standard. So let us meet on next day or next class, where I would be telling you what happened after this. Okay, thank you so much for joining the class. Now you may leave the class.
Bye, sir. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you, sir.
Have a